Purple Songs Can Fly is actually a track you can listen to on United Airlines. And just recently it's been brought into United. It started out in Continental. And Anita Kruse is this Bigger Game Changer's name. Would you come on up and I'll introduce you while you're here live. I think it's always sweet to bring you up and talk about you in public.
Thank you, Rick.
Mm-hmm. So, but I just want to say, her work, and you're going to hear the story, of course. I want to tell you the story, but it'd be better from her. Her work is on United Airlines. It was on the space shuttle.
They've been on 2 space shuttles.
2 space shuttles launched the music from these beautiful children. And on top of...
One of the astronauts retired from NASA and decided to climb Mount Everest, and he took the songs to the summit.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. Good. I realized I didn't train you in one thing. You see this little tape here?
Yeah.
That'll keep the thing off of your face. You'll get much better video.
Okay.
You'll thank me a week
Rick.
from now. So you want to sort of stay out here, outside,
Stay up here.
Outside of the arc.
Up here?
Perfect. Yeah, perfect. Okay, good. Whew. I was worried. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Anita Kruse, the game changer.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you so much. I know that Rick took a very big risk in having me here because I don't think he's ever heard me speak in public. So thank you, Rick. I went out. They gave me 5 more minutes, so I went to go hug a tree. And on my way to hug the tree, I found a dandelion. And so I made a wish for all of my angels to be with me as I present this to you. So I know they are. And I know all of yours are too. And this is there are no more. I blew them all off. Give me your story. I'm listening to love. This is the title that I gave to Rick and Chuck when they asked me for a title for today's talk. I knew I had a lot connected to this title, but I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it. Some of the things I'm going to share today I've never shared in public, certainly. So I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out. But what I do know is that all the things I'm going to talk about will be connected in some way to 6 things: inspiration, stories, creativity, spirituality, weaving, and songs. Yeah. So earlier this year, I was in the Bahamas, and I performed with a group of musicians, and we do benefit concerts for other nonprofits. And we were doing benefit concerts in Bahamas for an organization called Every Child Counts. And this organization was founded by a mother who had adopted 2 twin 3.5-year-old boys from Uruguay. When they arrived, she soon discovered that her children had severe developmental delays and that they would need special schooling. She then found out that there really was no special schooling on her island or on any of the islands surrounding her island. And then she found out that there were more children who were living at home, who never left their homes, who had no way to learn. And she decided, through her compassion for her own children and the other children in nearby communities, that she needed to create a school. So she created a school that uses the arts extensively. So we were there to do concerts that integrated the children into the concert. So it was just a very, very inspiring time with the children and with this mother and with the faculty and everyone who's involved. So the final day, I was sitting out looking at the ocean, and I was by myself, and all of these inspirations kind of came together at once. It was the feeling of the awe of nature and the awe of the ocean, as we've heard about this morning. It was the awe of this mother who took what could be a really, really tragic situation and made a life for her children so that they could be a part of the community. There was just the fun of being with the children and the music that we experienced together. So I was sitting looking at the ocean, and sort of feeling a glimpse into the divine realms, and a poem came to me. So I would like to start with a poem. If you're comfortable closing your eyes, that'd be great. If you'd like to breathe in with me, that'd be great. If you would like to breathe through your heart, that would be even better. I breathe you a blessing through my heart. You'll feel it when closing your eyes. You'll see it inside your mind somehow, the pulse of the great divine. It comes through me like a passing wave, a rhythm I can't explain. You'll know it as your inward breath sings peace without a name. I breathe you a blessing this Friday. You'll feel it in different ways. You'll see it inside your mind somehow, like words no one can say. It comes through me like a passing wave, or a pure and gentle sound. You'll know it in the calm of you, the infinite peace of now. The infinite peace of now. So I was thinking about what I would like to share with you and how I would put the mysteries that have come through my life and these glimpses of wonder and awe, these fragments of insight, stories and experiences. I felt like if I could somehow capture the essence of this, that you would understand who I am and understand the things that have been the most inspiring to me, the things that I've created that have been the most fulfilling to me. If I could somehow do that, that would be what I'd want to do. So I hope I'm able to do this. As I thought about all these different things that seem very disparate, I started to make a list. And then I reduced the list down to 6 things. And then I reduced the 6 things down to 6 words. And the words were inspiration, as I told you. So I began thinking about the 6, and I remembered a poem that I'd read many, many years ago by Elizabeth Bishop, incredible poet, and she wrote a brilliant poem called A Miracle for Breakfast. And this poem was written in the form of a sestina, which uses 6 words, 6 lines, 6 stanzas, and the 7th stanza is 3 lines. So it's a total of 39 lines. It's very, very specific form. And each of the 6 words ends the 6 lines. And then the 2nd stanza, they're in a different order. 3rd stanza, a different order. But they're the same 6 words. And there's something about this form that I've always been drawn to. After reading her sestina, I decided to write my own. And after that, I've written many, many more. And I've written them at times when I felt like I needed clarity or some way to go deep inside, because I really, really feel that the form of the sestina is like a creativity activator and maybe even a soul mirror of some kind. So every time I've written one, I've started in a place and I've ended in a place where, wow, I saw something new. So I encourage you all to write a sestina and learn about the form. It's an incredible form. So I would like to share with you my sestina for the Bigger Game Conference. I wrote it to help me find a way to share with you, so hopefully this will help. I'm going to put my dandelion down now. How can I talk about inspiration? Would it be best to tell stories, use my own creativity, glimpse into the realm of spirituality, and access the fine art of weaving, or simply sing my own songs. I could sing other people's songs. I could use my father's inspiration. I could copy the threads of history's weaving. I could share fellow artists' stories. I could describe my friends' ideas of spirituality. I could talk about my mother's endless creativity. But would that be true creativity? Would that give the world new songs? Would I learn about my own spirituality? Would I really be an inspiration? Would I risk anything in telling old stories? Would I find a new form of weaving? I would love to understand mind, heart, and soul weaving, to grasp the nature of creativity in all of my thoughts, words, and stories, living on the breath of inspiration, and how the world is formed by the depths of spirituality. And if we could each breathe in our own breaths of spirituality, every day, every moment, weaving the threads of inspiration into our expressions of creativity, being the music we are, the songs, the beautiful stories. Then we would live our own stories with a new sense of spirituality. We would sing our own songs with the threads of our own life, always weaving, breathing ourselves anew with the creativity and the mystery of pure inspiration. Stories are weaving our spirituality. Creativity is our song's inspiration. So, I've asked a lot of questions. I've given birth to creations. I've given birth to ideas, but I've never given birth to a child. Somehow, though, I've always had children in my life. I've written many, many lullabies for the babies of my friends. And I've often had the strange experience of walking into the room of a newborn and somehow, spontaneously, hearing a melody. After having this experience many times, I began to think that maybe we are all born with a song inside. Nearly 20 years ago, I wrote a lullaby for a friend's baby shower. As I began to write the lullaby, an image came to my mind. A spiraling double helix of DNA, purple and gold. Surprisingly, though, this image also had a sound, a vibration of some sort. I finished the lullaby, and I called it Lullaby Ladder. In my mind, I saw the spirit of the child coming down the DNA ladder into matter and being born on Earth. Sadly, the baby shower never happened. The child was born prematurely and only survived a few days. When I learned of the baby's death, I, of course, grieved for my friend's loss, for the child's unlived life, and I also struggled to make sense of this image and also what to do with the lullaby that now had nowhere to go. Through the loss, I began to see the image differently. I'd always seen the ladder as a descending ladder. But in reality, like most ladders, it went both ways. And I was able to find comfort in the idea that the spirit of the child had come down the ladder of DNA into matter at birth, and at death had moved back up the ladder, back to the unbound realm of spirit. At the time, I didn't know a geneticist or anyone else who could confirm my idea that DNA was potentially vibrating. But I held on to this thought for many, many years. 15 years later, I coincidentally met a geneticist who is a researcher at MD Anderson Cancer Center. And I took the opportunity to share my lullaby story with him. I'm sure he thought I was like totally out there, but he was really polite when I said, "Does DNA vibrate?" And he looked at me and said, "Well, Anita, I've never really thought about it that way. It's really not what I study." And then he said, "But you know what? Let me think about that." Within hours, he emailed me with another question. "Would you settle for oscillating DNA?" And he had attached a movie that he found of oscillating DNA, and it was connected to a research project. And I'm like, unfortunately, it was not purple and gold, but it was definitely vibrating. So we ended up talking more and more about this idea. He became really fascinated by the implications, the connection to music, and we ended up collaborating on a lecture concert called "Are We Made of Music?" Yeah, we can all agree that music can move us, music can soothe us, music can be an incredibly powerful force in our lives, but what if it is much, much deeper than that? What if we are made of sound, audible, inaudible, frequencies, energies? What if we are not only born with our own song inside, what if we are songs? In 2006, I created a recording studio in the Cancer Center at Texas Children's Hospital, where we work with the children to write and record their own songs. The children are given an individual CD of their original song that they can then share with family and friends. And as Rick said, it's called "Purple Songs Can Fly." Over the last 7 years, I have had the incredible honor of listening to hundreds of children's stories, imaginings, thoughts, feelings, hopes, fears, and faith, and help them to find their own song inside. From songs about life and death to songs about giving thanks for the greatest mom in the world, for best friends, songs about stars, songs about springtime, songs about puppies, songs about riding a Harley Davidson, songs about favorite nurses, songs about the side effects of chemo, and the many faces of God. Helping the children to find their own songs has been the most awe-inspiring and rewarding time of my life. I've been able to see how writing a song can change a child's view of life. I've been able to see how sharing the children's songs has inspired similar programs. I've been able to see how this simple, simple act of capturing a child's voice and song in a recording can become a treasured and precious gift for a family during their time of loss. And I've been able to see how a simple question can lead to deeper, deeper, deeper questions. It's my hope and my strong belief that we will one day fully understand how we are made of music, how all the sounds, audible, inaudible, frequencies, energies fit together, and how we can best use the science of sound and the beauty of creativity to not only prevent illnesses, but to alter the course of disease.
Live your questions now, and perhaps even without knowing it, you will live along some distant day into your answers.
My teeth are missing, my smile is funny, my head's too big, and my hair's too short. I know I'm brave, I know I'm
Oh, that was mine.
Is it back? Let's try that one.
Okay. Testing, testing. Testing. Oh. So this PowerPoint presentation I did at LSU at a TEDx in March. And I was actually really afraid to do this talk because I had never gotten up and spoken and memorized. I usually just get up and talk about Purple songs, but I had to memorize it, and it had to be very specific rules. And so I tried to get out of doing it, but I couldn't. So I did it. But they booked me on a flight the morning before at 7:12 a.m., and I was born on July 12th. So I thought, you know what? That's a good sign. This might go okay. I get to LSU, and I check into the room, and the colors of LSU are purple and gold, but my talk was about purple and gold, and my room was purple and gold. Every single thing in the room, everything. And I thought, you know what? I think it's going to go all right. But I was still kind of worried. That night at midnight, the phone rang in my room. And I answered the phone and said, "This is Anita." And the other voice said, "Miss Anita, this is Christian Spear." I'm like, "Christian Spear?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm at LSU. And I'm working in the hotel." I'm like, "Whoa." She goes, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm giving a talk tomorrow." She goes, "Well, can I come?" I said, "Well, it's kind of sold out. I don't know. I'll try to get you a ticket." Christian Spear was a child that I had written a song with 2.5 years earlier. I knew she'd gone to college. I didn't know where she went. She had leukemia as a child, and she grew up to become a singer. And she was from Houston. Her mother had raised her as a single parent. And she'd come up to the cancer center. I wasn't there, but she went up to the cancer center after she'd made it to the first cut of American Idol. And she sang for the children. And she saw my studio, and she wanted to know if she could write a purple song, being a long-term survivor. So we set up a time for her to write her song, and she wanted to write a song for her mother, to thank her mother for being there through her cancer and through her life. So I really did not know where she went, and there she was in the hotel, working the night shift. And I'm like, whoa. And so then she said, "Miss Anita, you won't believe this, but this guy walked in a few minutes ago, and he said, I really need to leave a message for someone, and I think they're in room 519. And so she went to the registry, and it was me. It was the wrong person, but it was me. So these are the kinds of things that have happened one after another around this project and everything that I've done with it. Just magical, mystical, unexplainable things, one after another. So I'd like to play a Christian song. This is called "If I Didn't Have You."
How do I put in words how I feel? What could I possibly say to let you know? A simple thank you can't even come close. If I were able to tell you this is how it would go, how it would go. You are the reason I live. You're the reason I try hard to give back what you give. I can't imagine where I'd be if I didn't have you. You were always there every step of the way. You never thought to leave my side, and today still remains. It's unbelievable the sacrifice, how much you gave of yourself to save my life, and you saved my life. You are the reason I live. You're the reason I try hard to give back what you give. Through good times and bad times, through pain and through tears. I can't imagine where I'd be if I didn't have you. Are the reason I live. You're the reason I try hard to give back what you give. Through good times and bad times, through pain and through tears. All the love that you showed me through these 18 years. I can't imagine where I'd be if I didn't have you.
Beautiful. Yeah, so Christian, I think our meeting led us to understand that she's really wanting to do something with her music that can help other children like her. So when she finishes at LSU, she's going to come to Purple Songs and write songs with the kids. So, yeah. So Christian is one of hundreds of children that I've helped write their own songs. But the very, very first child that I helped to write her own music was Anna Margaret Jones. And Anna...
I can't.
We'll wait for that. So Anna was taking piano lessons with me, and she was 12 years old, and I would incorporate composition into her lessons. And she was one of the most gifted, naturally musical, sensitive children I ever taught. And sometimes in her lessons, I would just watch her hands because she was so sensitive to the sound that she made on the piano, and she approached the piano in a way I had never seen a child or other pianists even approach the piano. So Anna really, really has an indelible mark on my life. She grew up to become a visual artist, and she went to college at Bard College, which is about 2.5 hours away from here. And when she was 22 years old, she wrote this beautiful poem. Tell me a story that I may remember my life. I have pictures unframed and unfocused. I have words buried deep. They are unsaid and unspoken. Tell me my story that I may go on with the next. Full moon of remembrance, let me follow your light. I have tears yet to shed and dark places to go. There are things that I need to see. Give me a story that I may call myself me. Morning dove sings and the dusk turns to night. The porch door bangs shut and the bath let out. Chariot low and sweet in your ear, you listened to love. I sing sometimes to myself in the rain. I listen for the wind that carries my joy. I am full and I am leaking from the sides and the edges. Lend me your ears and I'll look for the words. I am here to tell you my story. Today I stand between yesterday and tomorrow. I must give up one thing to go on to another. The sun sets, the wind blows, and my tears fall like manna. I am kindling a fire to bring light to my shadows. I have peace, I have strength. I have listened to love. Turn memory back. There are moments that haven't been told. There are skies yet to fill up with image and color. There are lives we haven't yet lived. The hush of a lover, the yell of delight, the sorrow of loss, and the tale of survival. Give me your story. I am listening to love. Anna wrote that poem while she was at Bard in 1998, while she was studying art and interested in understanding the connection between creativity and spirituality. Anna was killed by her former boyfriend on the campus at Bard. I was in Houston, and a friend of mine who remembered my connection to Anna sent me a package of all the clippings and all the notices and the booklet that her family and friends had made for her memorial. And in the booklet was a collection of her beautiful art and her poetry, and this was one of the poems. And I read this poem, and I immediately thought, oh my gosh, I have to set this poem to music. I have to do something with this poem for her parents. So I wrote to her father and asked him if it would be okay if I said it. And he said, oh, of course, Anita. So I worked on it, and I worked on it, and I worked on it. And I could never finish it. 2 years later, I was invited to write music for a group of women clergy in Houston called the Worship Weavers. And this was a group that created alternative services in Houston at different places in Houston. And so I was at the very first planning meeting for the first service of the season. And I had my notepad, and I was taking notes, and they had decided that this service would be called Healing and Wholeness. So I just started doodling, and I started doodling, tell me your story. And I doodled it over and over and over. And I started thinking about Anna, and I'm doodling this over and over, and a woman across the room says, I don't know why, but I just keep hearing this line, tell me your story. I keep hearing it like over and over. I'm like, what the? And I thought, you know what? I don't really want to tell this story. So I didn't say anything. So she says, I think that we're supposed to tell our stories as part of this service. We're supposed to model telling our stories. So we need to do that right here. I don't want to tell this story. And then she says again, I just keep hearing these words over and over, tell me your story, tell me. I'm like, oh. So I turned my pad around and I showed them my doodle and I told them the story. And they all looked at me like, Anita, you need to finish the song. Yeah, and so I had all kinds of excuses. I said, I don't know where the booklet is. I don't know where it is. I moved. I don't know where it is. You need to finish this song, Anita, and it needs to be part of this service. So I went home, and I went straight to the booklet, and I opened the booklet, and I read the words, and I wrote the song, and it came in a breath. And then I wrote another song, and then a mantra, and I knew that Anna was with me. I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't know how, but she was. And so I wrote to her parents again, and I said, I finally wrote the song, and it's going to be part of a service. I just want to make sure you're okay with that. Oh, of course, Anita. That's wonderful. And then I told her father, I've had this experience. I really feel like Anna's spirit is with me, and she helped me write this music. And he said, well, I need to tell you something, Anita. Over these years since Anna's death, several of her teachers, who were her music and art teachers, have contacted us because they have felt the presence of Anna's spirit in their work. I'm like, whoa. And he said, so what we've done in Anna's memory, because she was so interested in the connection between creativity and spirituality, we have set up a fellowship at Bard College. And every year we will bring in a different artist who's interested in this connection. So a year later, they invited me to be the fellow. And I went to Bard, and I did a couple of concerts, and I included the 3 songs that Anna had helped me write. And I also did songs that I'd written for that were kind of inspired by other people who had passed. And one of them was called Heaven's Waiting in Your Eyes. And I'd written it for a loved one as she was passing, and something I saw in her eyes. So after that concert, a man, big burly man, came up to me, and he said, Anita, I just have to tell you, thank you for singing that song. heaven's waiting in your eyes. I'm like, well, okay. He said, I just have to tell you that I'm a policeman. And I was the policeman first on the scene to find Anna. And he said that when he found her, her eyes were open. And he'd never been able to see her eyes the way he wanted to. But when he heard the song, he was able to see her eyes differently. And he knew that he could now be at peace with this image that had haunted him for 4 years. So, I knew that's why I was there. It was for him. And I really have no doubt that the things that we create from our hearts and share with the world make a difference. In small ways, in big ways, in ways we may never, ever know about. Yeah. It's been an amazing ride. I'd like to share with you Emily. Emily's one of the children in the Cancer Center, and she makes a difference every day.
I can't express my thanks enough to them. I was 14. I was a dancer, and I thought, okay, I'm going to be on Broadway. I'm going to just be a professional dancer. In 2009, I was actually in a ballet class, and I started seeing spots in front of my eyes.
The next time we noticed something out of the ordinary was actually a few months later, and we had gone to a play that a friend of hers was in. And at the intermission, we said, well, how did you like Hannah? Wasn't she doing great? And she said, I couldn't see Hannah. I couldn't tell which one she was. When she went to put on the glasses, tears just streamed down her face because the glasses didn't help. We knew something was wrong, but we didn't know what it was. And I mean, the first thing you think of is not cancer. I mean, it didn't enter our minds.
Turns out it was a tumor pressing on my optic nerve and wrapped around the pituitary gland, a cancerous tumor.
From that point on, it's like we were in a movie watching somebody else go through it.
I couldn't believe it at first. And it's like, okay, now what? Now what are we going to do to get rid of it?
She was admitted June 9th, and June 12th we had a diagnosis.
The team all came to my room and talked to me and my parents and just made it peaceful. Peaceful is a good word.
As it turns out, the type tumor that Emily had is very rare. She had a 50-50 chance of survival. It was after her second round of chemo that the tumor was gone, and that's when we sighed a huge sigh of relief because we knew it was working. It was very high-dose chemotherapy. You know, it was so intense. This type tumor affected all of her endocrine system, and all of her hormones had to be replaced. There's things that she accomplished prior to this that a lot of people would look up to and admire, you know, as a performer, but it meant nothing compared to coming through this and overcoming with, not just overcoming, but with the grace that she has. That's what I'm proud of.
Being a performer, I just jumped into that and have recorded 3 songs with them already. And that was great. It was a chance for me to get back on stage again. I have a great team at Texas Children's supporting me, and I'm cancer-free, and I mean, I'm healed.
So Emily is part of a group of 5 children that wrote a song about hope. And the song is going to be performed tomorrow night. And this is the reason I can't stay, is that I have to get back to Houston, because this purple song has been orchestrated for full orchestra and a large children's choir, and Emily and 4 other children are going to perform it tomorrow night. And then they're going to perform it on the 24th of May at Carnegie Hall. Yeah. So this whole idea of hope has been just prevalent in what I do. And I've seen these children who are living on the precipice of life and death able to find joy and hope and resilience and want to share this with the world. They have incredible messages for all of us, and I feel like it's been my mission to capture this incredible wisdom coming from these children. And because of all that I've seen and all that I've experienced now, I really do have no doubt that the things we create from our hearts, from the place of awe and wonder and beauty and love, they weave us as individuals, as families. I think they are threads. I think the threads are sound and frequency. I think that that's what's going on. It's just a hunch I have. But there are threads that weave everything. And when we come from the place of awe and beauty and love and hope and joy, that weaving, it weaves everything. Because none of us can escape the inevitable illness, pain, loss, tragedy, and death that we will all experience in our lifetimes. But if we can weave with these beautiful things, that we can transform all of that through our creativity. And I think that is my message, is that we all have the capacity to access the depth of our creativity every day, every moment. And Emily and the children that I've gotten to know, they are living in that place. And they still have this incredible, vibrant hope. Emily's song, Dream Big, was a song that she wrote about her experience at Radio City Music Hall, really. But I really wanted her to go back to New York. So I'll leave you with Emily's song, Dream Big, and she's definitely dreaming big.